So picture one dog, but moving through three completely different moments in time.
Oh, I've loved this visual.
Right, so first there's a fluffy puppy, just kind of learning the rhythm of the house.
Uh-huh. Total chaos, but so cute.
Exactly. Then a powerful adult dog just moving through this crisp, cool morning air.
Just doing what they were bred to do.
Yeah. And finally, you have a slower, older dog resting near its people, but still carrying this incredible, Arctic dignity.
That is just such a beautiful way to think about a Samoyed's life.
It really is. And welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. We are looking at a comprehensive lifetime health checklist today.
Synthesized from decades of veterinary notes, care guidelines, and breed-specific research.
Yeah, and it's tailored specifically for you and your Samoyed, because our mission today is to uncover the absolute reality behind that famous Samoyed smile.
And really understand how the daily decisions you make as an owner actively protect the life living behind that smile.
Because, okay, let's unpack this. You see this stunning cloud-like dog on social media, but the reality is a highly complex, incredibly specialized animal.
Oh, absolutely.
It really makes me wonder, is this breed's famous beauty actually a disguise for its intense biological needs?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the answer is a resounding yes.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. You cannot just look at a snapshot of a pretty dog. You have to take a radically holistic approach to this animal.
Right, because it's a living, breathing engine.
Exactly. We have to synthesize a lifetime of care from those chaotic puppy days right through to the fragile senior years.
So it's about looking past the photograph.
Yes, and acknowledging the physical, sometimes really messy reality of keeping an Arctic worker healthy inside a modern home.
Okay, so to really understand this dog, we have to start by literally looking beneath the surface.
Which is hard to do with that coat.
It is. We have to get past that massive, famous double coat, which creates what I like to call the fluff illusion.
The fluff illusion, yeah, that is perfectly put.
Yeah. Because for a Samoyed, grooming and nutrition are absolutely not about aesthetics. They are fundamental medical care.
For this breed, the brush is quite literally a diagnostic tool.
Wow, a diagnostic tool.
Yeah, because when you have an Arctic dog, the coat is so dense that you cannot see the dog's actual body.
You literally can't see the skin.
Right. A thorough grooming routine is the only reliable way you're going to catch early signs of parasites or hidden wounds.
Or unusual lumps and localized soreness.
Exactly, and hot spots. You have to be so vigilant.
The sources mention you actually have to check highly specific hidden friction zones constantly.
Oh, absolutely. Like the ears, the armpit.
And belly, too.
Yes, the belly, the paws, the base of the tail.
And right behind the ears. That's a huge one.
It is. And one of the greatest dangers hiding in those zones is matting.
Just normal tangled hair.
Well, no, a mat in a Samoyed's coat isn't just an ugly tangle of hair you can ignore. It is a biological hazard.
Wait, a hazard? How so?
Mats trap environmental moisture, they trap body heat, they trap dirt, and they hold all of that irritation directly against the dog's skin.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, it creates the perfect microenvironment for bacterial infections and severe pain.
Think about it like this. The Samoyed's coat is essentially a permanently attached, oversized, heavy-duty winter parka.
That's a great analogy.
Right, because if you see a person walking down the street in a massive down parka, you have absolutely no idea what their actual body looks like underneath.
They could be anything under there.
Exactly. They could be a heavily muscled bodybuilder, or they could be dangerously thin and malnourished. You just see the coat.
And that's exactly how fluff hides both obesity and dangerous muscle loss in these dogs.
So you cannot judge their body condition from across the living room couch.
You absolutely cannot. You have to physically get your hands deep into the coat, feel the ribs, feel the waist, and evaluate the actual muscle tone every single week.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me step in here for a second and play devil's advocate for everyone listening.
Go for it.
If I'm looking at my dog and the coat is gleaming white and looks perfectly fluffy, why do I need to aggressively dig into their armpits and their belly with a metal comb on a random Tuesday night?
Because it's medical.
But isn't grooming, at the end of the day, just a cosmetic chore?
No, the bowl and the brush serve the biological body, not the image of the coat.
Oh, I see.
If you are waiting until the dog visually looks bad, you have already missed the critical medical window.
Because the fluff hides it.
Exactly. That fluffy exterior will look perfectly fine, while a hot spot, which is a painful, rapidly spreading bacterial skin infection, is actively festering underneath a damp patch of fur.
And those can flare up into a weeping wound in a matter of hours.
Hours, yes. or while the dog is quietly losing muscle mass along its spine due to early-stage arthritis.
Man, that's scary.
It is. The brush belongs firmly in the health checklist. It doesn't sit next to it as a cosmetic afterthought.
Okay, so the bowl and the brush fuel and maintain the engine. But once you ensure that physical engine under all that fluff is healthy, we have to look at how it actually runs.
Right, their physical activity.
Yeah, and that physical exertion generates an immense amount of internal heat.
We really have to remember that this is, at its core, an Arctic worker bred to haul sleds across frozen tundra.
They aren't just couch potatoes.
No, not at all. That means its exercise requirements and its heat tolerance require lifetime, purposeful management.
So you cannot just casually toss this dog in your backyard and hope it runs off its energy.
A yard alone just isn't enough, honestly. Movement needs judgment.
Take pulling, for example. These dogs were biologically engineered to pull sleds.
It's literally in their DNA.
Right, so when they inevitably pull on the leash, that deep-seated instinct needs to be safely guided and trained.
You can't just ignore it or fight against it blindly with a tight leash.
And then there's the heat. Heat safety isn't just a fun summer reminder to toss some ice cubes in their water bowl.
Oh no, it is a vital aspect of lifetime care. It dictates their survival through puppyhood, adulthood, and especially their senior years.
The steps for heat management are entirely non-negotiable in the sources we reviewed.
You have to time your walks for the coolest parts of the early morning or late evening.
And you must provide indoor cooling, like fans or air conditioning, and ensure good ventilation, right?
Yes, and you have to entirely avoid hot pavement, which will severely burn their paw pads.
And absolutely avoid hot cars, which can become fatal in literally minutes.
Exactly. And you have to know the warning signs of heat distress.
Which are excessive panting that doesn't resolve when they rest, weakness, drooling, vomiting, confusion.
Collapse or general inability to cool down after activity.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting to me. There is a massive emphasis placed on watching the humidity, not just the temperature on the thermometer.
Yes, humidity is the silent killer here.
And that blew my mind a little bit until I thought about the mechanics of it. It's like driving a high-performance snowmobile in a temperate climate.
Wow, yeah, that is a really good comparison.
Right, because a snowmobile is this powerful engine designed to dissipate heat in freezing, dry conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you drive it on grass in 70-degree weather, you have to constantly stare at the temperature gauge because the vehicle simply wasn't designed for that environment. The cooling system will eventually fail.
Right, and dogs cool themselves primarily through panting, which is a form of evaporative cooling.
Which means they pull air over the wet surfaces of their tongue and lungs, right?
Yes, to evaporate the moisture and taking the heat with it. But when the humidity is high, the air is already saturated with water.
So the moisture from their breath just can't evaporate.
Exactly. Their primary internal cooling mechanism stops working entirely.
That is terrifying.
So you have a dog trapped in a heavy winter parka, generating intense internal heat through exercise, and its radiator is broken because of the moisture in the air.
And that is how a Samoyed overheats on a day that might feel perfectly comfortable to a human in a t-shirt.
What's fascinating here is how intimately exercise and environment are intertwined. You literally cannot plan one without the other for this breed.
And it changes based on life stages, too.
It does. You need safe, controlled, low-impact exercise for puppies to protect their growing joints.
Right, and then you need real lung-expanding stamina work for fit adults.
And highly adapted gentle movement for seniors.
Yeah.
Plus, if you have an overweight Samoyed, you can't just throw them into hard, extended exercise to burn the calories.
Because that extra fat, combined with the dense coat, creates a massive compounding overheating risk.
Exactly. It requires a strategic, vet-guided weight loss plan before you can really push their stamina.
Okay, so that trapped physical heat we just talked about is only half the equation. You also have trapped physical energy.
Oh, yes. They get energy.
And because they are highly intelligent, expressive animals bred to pull sleds in a pack, that unspent physical energy doesn't just turn into fat, it turns into noise.
So much noise.
Which brings us to the Samoyed voice and their behavior as an expressive worker.
A Samoyed's famous independence and its highly vocal nature are inherent features of the breed. They're not behavioral bugs to be eradicated.
So their behavior is deeply biologically tied to their health and their working heritage.
Yes. The Samoyed voice belongs in the home, but it shouldn't run the home.
Right. Barking needs guidance and boundaries, not suppression.
And their independence needs clear direction. Part of their lifelong training involves managing demand behavior. pulling, digging, chewing.
And setting real, consistent rules with children, visitors, and other pets.
Crucially, any sudden shifts in behavior should always be viewed as potential health clues first.
Like what? Like unusual quietness in a normally vocal dog.
Yes, or a sudden aggressive resistance to being groomed, or unexpected frantic barking.
So you don't dismiss them as sudden bad behavior.
No, you investigate them as distress signals.
But let's be real for a second. We all love the idea of an independent spirit until that independence looks like a 60-pound cloud screaming at you at 6 a.m. because you're 5 minutes late with breakfast.
Oh, I know the feeling.
Or like aggressively ignoring your recall command at the park. Shouldn't I just focus on firmly shutting that behavior down? I mean, I need to maintain peace in my house. Why cater to the barking?
You cannot separate the dog's mind from its biology.
What do you mean?
This is a breed that was developed over thousands of years to work in brutal, desolate environments, to make independent life-or-death decisions when pulling a sled over ice,
Oh, wow, right.
and to communicate loudly over howling winds with the rest of their pack.
So trying to punish an Arctic worker into silent, unquestioning compliance goes entirely against its fundamental nature,
Yes, it creates immense psychological stress,
which eventually manifests as physical stress, anxiety, or severely destructive behavior.
like eating your drywall. Exactly. The training philosophy here must be maintained through positive reward-based systems for their entire life.
So it's not a rigid obedience routine you teach once in puppyhood and cross off a to-do list.
No, it is a lifelong, evolving dialogue.
And that dialogue, that lifelong maintenance of mind and body, isn't static. The way you communicate with a squirmy puppy is vastly different from how you manage a fragile senior.
Oh, absolutely. Care strategies absolutely must evolve as the dog ages.
Let's look at that journey from the puppy foundation to senior grace.
Puppyhood is your foundational investment. Adulthood is the long, steady bridge of preventive care.
And senior care.
Senior care is about taking that exact same dog and offering it a much gentler, more forgiving rhythm.
So let's bring those stages down. In puppyhood, the checklist is about vet-guided growth to protect those joints.
And it's teaching bite inhibition so they know how to be gentle.
It's about building alone time confidence to prevent separation anxiety. But the most interesting one to me is early grooming cooperation.
Yes, you have to start training them to accept the brush before their adult coat even grows in and demands it.
Right. So what does this all mean? To me, it looks exactly like compound interest.
It is the perfect analogy. You are investing in their future mindset.
Because when you are gently brushing a 10-week-old puppy who barely has any fur, you aren't actually detangling hair.
No, you are physically rewiring their brain.
You're teaching them that the brush isn't a fun toy to be bitten, and it isn't a terrifying threat to run away from.
It's just a boring, neutral fact of daily life.
Every single calm, patient session you invest early on pays massive dividends 10 years later.
Because wrestling a squirmy 15-pound puppy with a brush is annoying. Wrestling a 70-pound senior dog who has severe arthritis and desperately needs a painful mat removed is a medical nightmare.
Oh, that makes total sense.
That highlights the deep psychological shift required of you, the owner, when the dog finally reaches those senior years.
Because a senior Samoyed isn't a fundamentally different dog, right? Their mind is still there.
Exactly, but their body requires a gentler rhythm. And because of the inherent stoicism of the breed and that massive visual shield of a coat, you have to be hypervigilant.
Severe muscle loss hides so easily under the fluff.
You have to watch closely for stiffness and pain when they stand up. And crucially, you cannot just dismiss it as, oh, they're just getting old.
Pain management is medical care.
Yes, you have to physically adjust their environment, shorten the grooming session so they aren't standing for too long.
And put down yoga mats or rugs for traction on hardwood floors so they don't slip and tear a ligament, right?
Exactly. Watch for cognitive changes, nighttime restlessness, or sudden anxiety.
And the heat management. It changes all over again, doesn't it?
It really does. In senior dogs, their internal thermostat, their ability to regulate their core temperature, deteriorates.
So their heat tolerance will drop significantly, making summer much more dangerous.
But suddenly, their cold tolerance might drop too.
Wait, really? The Arctic dog gets cold?
Yes. The tough working dog that used to happily sleep in a snowbank might suddenly need a warm orthopedic bed indoors away from drafts.
Wow. The environment must be constantly adapted to the dog's failing systems.
Ultimately, quality of life must become an ongoing, deeply honest conversation between you and your vet.
Managing all these complex shifting variables. The hidden skin issues, the evaporative cooling risks, the behavioral changes, the subtle muscle loss over 10 to 15 years is impossible to do blindly based on just vibes.
No, you absolutely need specific safety nets to catch the things that human memory naturally misses.
The sources outline two unsung safety nets: meticulous record keeping and a strong, ongoing communicative partnership with your veterinarian.
Success with a high-maintenance breed like the Samoyed relies entirely on these two pillars.
The vet partnership is obvious but crucial. Never give human medications without explicit vet instruction.
Even seemingly harmless supplements or major diet changes need a conversation first.
And if you see urgent warning signs, you don't wait for a convenient appointment slot next Tuesday, you go straight to an emergency clinic.
But the record-keeping aspect is intense.
It is. You need to track weight, appetite, daily thirst, urination frequency, stool quality, grooming notes, breath, odor, eye changes, how fast they recover from panting, limping, everything.
There are even apps like VitalPet mentioned in the sources, designed specifically to organize all these health records, daily routines, and medications.
Human memory is remarkably flawed. We remember the dramatic days.
The day the dog threw up on the rug, or the day they chased a squirrel into a fence.
But records protect the quiet changes.
Exactly.
Look, I'm a busy person, tracking my dog's daily thirst, staring at their stool quality in the yard, logging grooming notes every single day. I have a full-time job.
I hear that a lot.
This sounds borderline obsessive. Can't I just trust my gut as a pet owner when my dog seems a little off?
Your gut will betray you because the changes are simply too quiet. We are talking about insidious, slow declines.
Because of the dog's stoic working dog nature?
Yes, they are bred to push through pain.
Mm-hmm.
And because that massive double coat acts as a physical barrier to observation.
So a subtle 10% decline in muscle mass in their hind legs or a slight daily increase in water consumption indicating early-stage kidney issues is entirely invisible day to day.
A single odd day where they drink a bit more water really tells you anything.
It is the documented pattern across weeks and months that reveals the objective truth of the dog's health.
So without the written records, you don't see the downward trend until it suddenly spikes into an expensive, life-threatening emergency.
This raises an important question, doesn't it?
It does, and it's one we all have to confront. How honest are we willing to be about our own home life?
Because the right home for a Samoyed isn't a theoretically perfect, highly curated home.
No, it is an honest home.
Yeah.
One that is genuinely prepared for finding white fur in your morning coffee, the sheer volume of the barking, the real financial costs of veterinary care,
The rigid exercise scheduling regardless of the weather.
and the messy daily reality living behind the beautiful photograph.
It really brings the whole picture together. So, to wrap up our deep dive into this lifetime checklist, we have to answer the big question. Are Samoyeds high maintenance?
Based on everything we've unpacked, yes, absolutely.
But they are immensely, deeply rewarding. A well-cared-for Samoyed isn't protected by one single perfect decision you make when you bring them home.
They're protected by thousands of small daily decisions.
Like the heavy brush you choose to pick up on a tired Tuesday evening.
The morning walk you begrudgingly move to 6 a.m. because the humidity is going to be brutal by noon.
The loud, demanding bark you take the time to understand and redirect, rather than just yelling at them to shut up.
You are caring for the whole complex biological system, not just the image of a dog.
You are maintaining a piece of Arctic history right in your living room. So, since you have this beautiful Arctic worker sitting in your house right now, go grab that brush.
Yes, you're not just making them look pretty, you're checking their engine.
Before we go, what's a final thought we can leave everyone with?
Well, in an era where we so often choose our pets based on social media aesthetics, and we try to squeeze them into our highly sterilized, climate-controlled, relatively quiet modern lives,
Oh.
what does it actually do to our own human nature when we are forced to adapt?
Well, that's interesting.
Right. What happens to us when we fully commit to a creature whose very biology demands that we step outside, pay close attention to the changing weather, feel the shifting humidity, and reconnect with the wild vocal rhythms of the natural world?
We'll leave you with that to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. See you next time.